Hey guys, welcome to day 8 of the Zero to Hero Challenge. It is an amazing day. You guys will see that there's a lot of redundancy because that's what business is. That's really what business really comes down to, is just repeatedly doing the same things over and over and over
And showing up.
And we call that chopping wood, carrying water. You just do the work. And then at some point you delegate even the mundane and tedious things, so that you can kind of disconnect from your business. And we're kind of dealing with that right now, which I think is kind of a good idea. If we did like a monthly Zero to Hero call where it's like we express to the Zero to Hero, students that go through the program, what other things we're currently dealing with in our business, because it's not like you can just build a business in 3 weeks and then never have to deal with it ever again, right? You're going to need some continued help and all that kind of stuff. So that's stuff to talk about in the future. But we are, before we even press record, we were talking about a few employees that we've got to adjust and move things around. But for the most part, things are pretty stable once you just do the work. So what did we do today in day 8?
Day 8, we sent some more text messages. We sent 500 more text messages. And then we did a call calibration. And Matt, what's the call calibration? What is that?
Yes. So a call calibration, guys. Cody, you know, I think it's
how do you like relevant. That drink, by the way?
This is actually really good. What is it called? Sambazan?
Yeah, you've never had their acai drink?
No, dude, my whole body's tingling right now.
The affiliate,
so if my eyes start twitching on camera, just let me know.
Click the link below for the Sambazan.
Sambazan.
It's very very good.
Sticks to Fresca.
Yes. So very good. Again, I'm tingling all over, but I guess Jesus warned me about that. So call calibration is that we actually do call listening for our agents. So does Matt have to pull those call recordings? No. Do you guys have to pull those call recordings? No. Your CSM does it, right? So it's a part of.
I actually did not know that until right now. The CSM pulls call recordings.
Yeah. I just simply asked, like, hey, Sachi, can I get call recordings from Daryl and Jerome for yesterday? And she goes, sure. And she'll pull a couple. It's like, this was a not interested. This was a not interested. This was one that actually got pushed over as a lead. So she sent me like 3 or 4 recordings for each VA.
On day 8, did you have anything that you felt like was already starting to look like a contract?
For sure. We had probably like 4 or 5 leads that were like, okay, these are pretty good. So those are good learning lessons because, hey, these are good calls. And again, up to this point, we were doing this every day that you guys are seeing. So if you're watching this day 8 recording, you know what I'm talking about. If you're taking action, you see that Jerome is getting better up to this point. We're halfway through the challenge and he's already had his calls listened to. Like, just think about that. Takes some gut too, to come on and like, hey, be critiqued in front of a bunch of people. And then he knows there's going to be a lot of folks watching it.
Yeah.
Like,
this wasn't just his boss critiquing him. This was 300, 400, 500 live people watching him every moment of the day.
100%. Crazy, which is, a reason why Karen didn't work out the first VA.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it was too much pressure.
You're stressing me out.
Right. So like our saying is plus ultra, which was his thing. So it was really cool. So up to this point, like he started having his calls listened to from like day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. And now day 8, like he's like a completely different person on the phone. Right. And we had those recordings and we had Daryl too from the very beginning, had him listen to Jerome's calls. Right. Hey, Daryl, what do you think? This is some of Jerome's good calls that we have. And then up to this point, again, this is day 8. So Daryl's already made calls for 2 days. So we started pulling some of Daryl's recordings and he's starting to get better. Damn. So call calibrations is super duper important. I mean, up to this point for personal businesses, like we have VAs that make sure this is happening for us. This is something to scale towards.
Were you comping at any point during this? Like, hey, here's a deal. Let's comp this and see if it's even a good opportunity.
We comped on day 8. So day 8, we actually brought the lead that I'm like, okay, I think I feel pretty confident about this one. Let's look at a couple of these together. And we brought Jim Wills on to look at some of them together with us as well.
Shout out, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Step into a Slim Jim.
Step into But for real, like we had the leads coming in and we felt confident like, hey, I'm not really sure about this one. Or I don't know, have you ever dealt with a sarcastic seller? It's like, yeah, I'll take $50K for my property. It's like, oh my God, it's an amazing deal. Right? But it's not really a lead. So we had a sarcastic seller and we listened to the call recording live in front of everyone. It's like, okay, this guy clearly doesn't own this property.
How great is this? Like, I just swear to you, every time I took wholesale training and I was like paying for wholesale education, even when I bought my Homevestors franchise, shout out Homevestors. never mind. I'm going to, because this is going to shout out you all investors. I hope you're doing very well. I wish you luck. $150,000 for that franchise. $150,000 for that franchise. And if I would have just watched Zero to Hero, I would have learned literally 100 times more. And sounds like an exaggeration. It's not. 100 times more information in just 8 days than I did in an entire 3 years inside that organization. For $150,000 buy-in, a trip to Dallas for 2 weeks, and $20,000 a month in advertising. It is crazy what people are doing to themselves in this business, how hard they're making their lives.
100%.
Guys, it's not that hard. It really is
Simple.
not that hard. Cody, anything that we did today that you want to fill in the blanks on?
No, I mean, I think talking about that sarcastic seller was interesting because sometimes, I mean, where the VAs are from the Philippines, sarcasm is mostly lost in a lot of the culture there. So it's like
lost in translation.
Yeah, it gets lost in the translation. So they just take it literally, but they're not really understanding. Like, I think I remember the seller was like, I have 600 homes. I don't remember if that's this one, but I'll sell it for $50,000. And Jerome's like, okay, well, let me get some more information about the properties.
Right. So it clearly isn't a good lead.
Yeah.
But again, like what we did, which I think was probably one of the most special things that I think hopefully you guys are getting from watching this. And if you're not, why are you still here? But if you're watching this, you should see that you have to show up every day to make this happen. Like, we just didn't magically get to this point where we're doing the call calibrations, doing the huddle, sending the text, and we sent out our first contract today. We didn't get to this point by just saying, oh, well, our VAs are doing the job.
Walk me into that. Give me the understanding of what led into getting this contract sent out today, because it wasn't signed at this point. But what was the lead up? Was it a text message? Was it a cold call? What was it that led into us getting this deal, and why did we think it was a good deal?
For sure. So this came from the SMS. You guys remember from day 6. It came from that initial text blast. And what we went over in the actual session was we used a general neutral name. So that way it could be perceived as a female name on text, but we have a male making the call. So typically we see, and maybe this is my own limiting belief, but I like to believe that sellers respond to females via text more than males. So we chose a gender neutral name.
That is 1,000% correct. It's not a limiting belief. I do believe that is correct.
For sure. So there we go. So we pushed that from a text to a phone call. We made that call, and the seller was interested in selling. He had the property he wanted he wanted like $240 for it. It wasn't a deal for us quite at that price, but he was accepting offers from other investors. So I'm like, okay, cool. We need to get this person on the phone. So at that point, I'm doing the acquisition. So I had Jerome, which in this case was Sam. He pushed the call over to me, made the call, negotiated a little bit, found a price that worked for the both of us. And at that point, like, you guys will see, if you have access to the recordings, which hopefully you do, we have the actual call recording in the trainings.
So you're not just telling me theoretical, hypothetical, pretend unicorn stuff. You're showing me
100%. Well, I don't think that'd be fair. I think I'll go back to, hey, we generated a lead. That's the circle. We generated a lead, and Jerome said it's a good conversation, a circle with 2 legs, and then contract. There's the horse painting. Right? I don't think that'd be fair to you guys.
Jesus, you know to put that up in post, right?
There you go.
Right? It's gonna pop up as I'm talking to Jesus. We should create a logo of what you look like get your face and put you in white robes.
Please, let's.
And it'll be like you walking across the screen, holding up a sign of the GIF of the horse GIF.
Oh, like on the fight, like a cage fight. Yes.
So guys, that was day 8. Contract got sent out. There's those recordings and all of those things inside the training. So you're missing out if you're not part of it. ZeroToHeroREI.com. Click the link down below to get access to the full recordings. Now, off to day number 9. We'll see you in the next video.
See ya.